Did you know that God already knows that we make mistakes sometimes?
But he always gives us a second chance.
I am Buckle.
And I'm Isla.
And welcome to The Link Show. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Link Show. I think we're up to week 4 of term 4. We're getting so close to our Christmas series. It's coming up in just a few weeks. But Isla, what are we doing today on The Link Show?
First up, we have a really cool craft about forgiving.
That's right, about forgiving others. After that, we're going to be taking a look at all of your amazing arts and crafts. I've already seen some. They're really, really cool.
After that, we've got today's Bible story.
I love watching them. They're so cool when they get drawn on the page. And then after that, we've got today's Bible quiz. Now, there's 2 different ways to do today's craft. We've colored ours in. This is what today's craft looks like on the screen now. But you can also do a paper collage. So if you've got colored paper, you could rip it up and glue it onto the word and then color around the outside. So it's up to you and your teacher or leader how you want to do today's craft. We're going to get started. And while we do that, how about you go check out Preach Part 1. Okay, I've got a question for you. Have you ever been doing something one way and you thought that that was the correct way to do that thing, the right way? You got maybe halfway through and then you realized you'd been doing it entirely wrong and you had to start again. I remember once when I was at school, we were given an assignment. We were given a test and we had to write about a particular person in history. And so I had jumped onto the internet and I Googled the person's first name. This is where you'll figure out the mistake. I didn't bother looking for the last name. And so I just did the first name. And so I started writing this essay all about this person in history, writing the things they'd done. And I got about halfway through. I'd spent like a week and a half on this topic. And then the teacher had said, I want you to bring all of your assessments back in. I want you to bring in your written material so that we can do a review, halfway review. We're going to check to make sure you're on the right track. And so we all get into class and the teacher's going around looking at what everybody had written. And then the teacher came to me, read my piece of paper and had a very strange, confused look on her face. She had no idea what I was writing about and proceeded to ask me, Buckle, are you sure you're reading up about the right person? And I said, yeah, for sure. I jumped on the internet and I Googled this name. And she's like, I think you might have found the wrong person. And sure enough, I went home and I looked at my search history, opened up the webpage, and I had been reading about the wrong person. I had spent over a week writing about the wrong person. And so I had to make a change. I had to go back and start again because the way I was going was wrong and I had to start again. Now, as much as it was ridiculous and I felt really silly in the moment, the teacher didn't get angry at me. The teacher had a little bit of a laugh with me. We both thought it was funny and I started again. I got a second chance and the teacher was actually really nice and gave me a 1-week extension to make up for the fact that I had started doing the wrong thing, which the teacher didn't have to. Very, very kind. If that teacher is watching and remembers, thank you very much. But I want to talk about the fact that sometimes in life we do things that we think are the right thing. It's not that we're doing the wrong thing. We're doing something that we think might be right, and then it turns out that it's not right. You see, we've covered in previous weeks where we choose to do the wrong thing and we know it. But sometimes we just legitimately think we're doing the right thing, but it turns out that we just had the wrong information. And so what do we do in those moments? Maybe you got angry at someone because you heard that they had been talking about you behind your back. Maybe you heard that a really good friend had been talking about you behind your back. And so you started getting angry at them and being really upset with them because this was the information that you had. But then you find out, it turns out that wasn't true, and all of a sudden you've got to go to that friend and say, hey, I'm so sorry. I thought that you were talking about me behind my back, but my information was wrong. And so please forgive me. Please let me start again. You see, today I want to talk about the fact that whenever we make mistakes, whether we knowingly make those mistakes or if we don't know that we're making those mistakes, that there's always a second chance. There's always an opportunity for us to make what is wrong right again. And in just a little bit, we're going to take a look at a story in the Bible of someone who legitimately thought that they were doing the right thing, but in fact they weren't. But But Jesus gets involved. Jesus steps in and helps this person see that they're doing the wrong thing and gives them a second chance. It doesn't write them off from their purpose, but in fact, Jesus helps get them back on track. And then after that, we're going to learn that Jesus wants to do the same for you and for me. But we'll talk about that in just a minute.
Welcome back, guys. Actually, we took a photo of our colouring. Look at this.
It's pretty cool. We used textures with this one. So we did a little bit of texture because the colours are nice and bright. You can use pencils or textures. But if someone does do the paper collage, we'd love to see that as well. But right now, we're going to take a look at all of your arts and crafts from last week.
Welcome back, guys. You are so talented. I love seeing all of them. They're so talented.
I know, the hands and the colours. It's so good. But right now, we need to go check out today's animated Bible story. Say hello to Paul, one of the heroes of the Bible. He helped build the early church after Jesus had left, and he even wrote some of the books that are in the Bible. But Paul did not start out as Paul. Originally, his name was Saul, and he was not a very nice person. Saul would travel around trying to hurt Christians. He did not like them at all. He even got permission from the priests to capture Christians and put them in jail. And so one day, Paul was traveling on the road near a place called Damascus, on his way to capture more Christians, when all of a sudden a bright light from heaven shone down on Paul and a voice spoke to him saying, "Saul, why are you hurting me?" Saul replied, "Who are you, Lord?" And the voice replied, "I am Jesus. I want you to go into the city and wait there. Someone will tell you what to do." When Saul stood up, he realized that he couldn't see anything. He was blind. And so the men traveling with Saul helped him into the city where he waited, just as Jesus said. Saul waited for 3 days, but then finally a man named Ananias came and saw him. He laid his hands on him, and instantly Saul could see again. And so Saul changed the way he was living and decided to follow Jesus. Instead of hurting Christians, he would help them. He traveled around telling people about how much Jesus loved them and spreading the good news. He even changed his name from Saul to Paul, and the people that heard him were amazed at how he had changed. Okay, so here's the thing about this story of this guy named Paul, who was originally Saul. You see, the Bible says that he was doing what he thought was the right thing. He would go as a Jewish man to the tabernacle. He would do the things that the law said. He was doing what he thought was right. So in his mind, this new group of Jesus followers, these Christians, were not doing the right thing. He thought that the Christians were disobeying God. And so in the story, we can see he's actually trying to stop the message of Jesus. He's traveling around trying to capture Christians to stop the message of Jesus. But on the road, Jesus steps in and says, "Why are you persecuting me? Why are you hurting me? I am Jesus. I am the Son of God." And so Saul has this realization, wait, the information that I had was wrong. I thought that followers of Jesus were the bad guys. My information was wrong. It turns out the followers of Jesus were the ones who were doing the right thing. And so Jesus doesn't write him off. Jesus gives Saul a second chance. He has an encounter with him and shows him that he has a plan for his life. And I love that Saul even changes his name. He's like, you know what? I'm going to start again. I'm going to take a second chance. I'm not going to be Saul anymore. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to be Paul, and I'm going to follow Jesus. I'm going to spread the good news. You see, it's the same for you and for me. What I try to do on the Link Show, and what your kids' pastor tries to do, and what your Christian teachers try to do, is to try to get you the right information. We want to get you the right message to help you make the right choices. And so on some weeks of the Link Show, you might hear myself or one of our other preachers tell you something that changes the way you think, and you might feel bad that you'd been doing the wrong thing, but you didn't realize it. Well, today I want to tell you that that's totally okay. That Jesus is all about second chances. That if we're willing to do what Saul did, to turn our lives around, I'm not saying you have to change your name, not at all. But if we're willing to take this new information and to follow the way that Jesus wants us to live, then there is nothing that you can do to stop you from reaching the purpose that God has for your life. None of your past mistakes are more powerful than the love of Jesus. And so this is what I want us to learn today. It's the big point that Jesus always has a plan for my future. That no matter what you do, as long as you're willing to say sorry and to start again, Jesus always has a plan for your future. Welcome back, everyone. You know what it's time for? The Bible quiz. The way this is going to work is we're going to ask you a question with two possible answers. If you think the first answer is correct, put your hands on your
head.
If you think the second answer is correct, put your hands on your
shoulder.
Here we go with question number 1. Now, today's story was about a man whose name was Paul, but at the beginning of the story, he had a different name. What was it? Was his name Saul or was it Simon? You've got 5 seconds. Isla, what do you think the answer is?
Saul.
It was Saul, so hands on heads is correct. Well done. Question number 2. Was Saul, at the beginning, doing the right thing, or was he doing the wrong thing? You've got 5 seconds. Isla, what do you think the answer is?
Was he doing the wrong thing?
He was doing the wrong thing. He was putting Christians in jail. That's so mean. But question number 3, on the road, something happened. A bright something appeared to him. Was it a bright light or was it a bright cow? You've got 5 seconds. Isla, what do you think the answer is?
A bright cow?
No, it was a bright light. It was actually Jesus was speaking to him saying, "Why are you hurting my people?" Now, after this, Saul went blind for a little bit, just for a couple of days, but he went to a local town and someone prayed for him and something happened. What happened? Did his eyesight come back so he could see again, so he was healed? Or was he able to fly? You've got 5 seconds. Isla, what do you think the answer is?
Could he see again?
Yeah, his eyes were healed. He was able to see again. And then last question, question number 5, he became Paul, and what did he go around doing? Did he go around cooking everybody pizza? Or did he go around telling everyone about the love of Jesus? You've got 5 seconds. Isla, what do you think the answer is?
Telling the love of Jesus?
That's right, telling everyone about the love of Jesus. And that's why today's craft was that we should forgive other people, because God forgave us. God gave us a second chance, and so we should give other people a second chance too. But thanks for hanging out with us today. My name is Buckle.
And my name is Isla.
And we will see you next week on The Link Show. Bye.